Okay, sit tight. This week in Puerto Rican news. This week marks one of the deadliest weekends for swimmers and surfers across all of the northern beaches here in Puerto Rico, from Loíza to Dorado to Manatí. There have been reports of 3 drownings, one body still being recovered, and then one person who was rescued from Los Tubos in Manatí. Another case of a local resident from Guaynabo who was in Loíza, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital. And then another person who is missing currently in Dorado, another surfer who was taking lessons. And last but not least, the tragic case of a father who came from New York with his family. His wife, in the interview was saying that he went up to take a look at the view. He went up to the rocks in Mar Chiquita. I've been to this beach, Mar Chiquita, Manatí, and unfortunately a wave must have caused him to fall into the water and get pulled under by the current and drowned. And the unfortunate thing about that case is that, his wife and daughter went up to the rocks to look for him to see what may have happened. And that's when another person, another local, pointed out that they saw a body in the water. And unfortunately, they have yet to recover the body. So it just showcased the need for us to continue to stay vigilant on the conditions of the beaches, especially when it comes to hurricane season. So important overall to just be aware of this.
¿Por qué no podemos bajar para allá abajo? ¿La carretera es pública o es privada?
As tourists flock to the beaches here in Puerto Rico for Bad Bunny's residency, there are other locals reporting the issue of access to the beaches, as there have been unofficial closures of roads and accesses to the beach. So the issue of Project Esencia and the project in Rincon continues to be a problem that we want to stay aware of and vigilant over. So please continue to follow the pages that do discuss the need to remind everyone, including those politicians at the top, que las playas son del pueblo. I want to give you guys an update on the case of Gabriela Nicole, or Lela. And obviously, we do know that the mother and daughter responsible for her stabbing, for her death, are still in police custody. There was a preliminary hearing just yesterday, but their defense, their lawyers, requested a little bit more time to review all of the evidence. But that being said, the interviews of the others that were potentially involved continue, and we haven't seen any more arrests. And that's concerning because we have heard that this incident was a result of a group of women. So it is really important that we, continue to spread awareness and amplify this issue. But one thing that has been really bothering me about this case and the way people are talking about Antoneshka, the 17-year-old girl who's responsible, is that they blame the mother, they blame her environment, they say that there's a lack of mental health services here on the island. That's of course true, but there's something else that's been bothering me. And it started from reading the comments and realizing that a lot of people love to blame an outside force rather than understanding that these monsters in society are created by society, are created by either our consent, our allowing something to happen or not happening. And so when it comes to the policies of the government, when it comes to the lack of infrastructure, the issues around the economy, the issues around the mental health, this is really on us as a society to say, these are the result of the negligence and the corruption of a government that we allow to stay in power. Because at the end of the day, the power that they have is only possible through us. Anyway, this is important for me to say, just because just as we are allowing them to stay in power, it is also possible, it's within our power to take them out of power, right? I just want to say there is a need for us to have a discussion about what we as a community can do when we organize. Just the same way that they organize to displace Puerto Ricans, we can organize to keep us here. So in that vein, let's talk about the blackouts in Puerto Rico, which are coordinated blackouts by the corrupt electric company called Luma. So if it wasn't enough that they are causing these blackouts, they are now threatening a spike to the electric bill if they're forced to pay for all the damages to fridges, stoves, to TVs that are caused by their blackouts. And on top of that, just today, I've heard that they are threatening to sue the government in order to keep their multi-million-dollar contract. So not only are they giving us terrible service, they're trying to make us pay more for it, and then they're trying to sue to stay. You know what that means? Fuera Luma. Luma needs to go. So let's continue to push for that. On that note, I'm wearing my Deport the Colonizer t-shirt from my merch store because on Sunday we have a march for the independence of Puerto Rico. So I hope that you'll either attend if you're here or you'll amplify the efforts of hundreds and hundreds of organizers and activists and people who are calling for people to get to the streets. You may not think that marching is going to do anything, but I think it's a symbolic gesture that we need to continue to create more and more push for a movement to decolonize Puerto Rico truly. And of course, there's been years of people trying to do this, but it's important to also keep this in mind. Those that benefit from colonialism thrive on our silence. So I hope you'll join me in this march para la independencia de Puerto Rico.